That's a dead clap. We do that again. And the clap means go.
Yeah.
Liam, I've told everybody, and I want to stop saying it now, I'm no longer introducing people, right? We haven't had a million conversations. We spoke a couple of times when we've met each other. You've come down to talk about youth work. I've reached out to you because I've seen your socials, and when you're on your social media, you don't post a million times, but you always post positive things about your boys and your journey. So if you don't mind giving an introduction to the people about who you are, what you do, and then we can start the conversation about life and as a man and as a father, how you get by.
Bro, 34,
Yeah.
got 2 kids, I work, I drive, I live out a little bit, so I move around a lot.
Yeah.
We live like Surrey, everything that we do is London, South London.
Yeah.
So we're all over the place. But bro, I'm just family. It's all my energy, man.
Do you know what the crazy thing is? I felt so bad when you come into my house and you're like, you live in Epsom. I was like, I thought you lived in Addiscombe, bro. And now I live in Epsom. I would have come to you like, because it's not close. Obviously, I'm in Croydon, Epsom, Sutton's in between Epsom, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not. I remember going to Epsom Downs, like the race course.
Mm-hmm.
It's not local, so.
But you see, for someone who, and this is what we find for everyone who's in London or here.
Yeah.
Them to come to us, it feels to them a longer journey than it does for us to come to them.
Okay.
Because we're used to it.
Oh yeah.
I've been there for like 10 years. We used to be around here.
Yeah.
Until I was 20s.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're just used to it.
Thank you very much for coming down. Like I say, it might be easy for you, but I know how hard it would have been for me. So from my perspective, thank you very much for coming down and blessing me with this conversation. Today's conversation is going to be like amazing, like every other conversation. So what do you do work-wise? Where do you work? What are you doing with yourself at the moment?
So I work for the NHS.
Yeah.
It's basically workforce planning.
Yeah.
So it's how can I put it? I've just changed jobs.
So if you working within the NHS changed jobs?
Yeah. So I was working for a NHS consultancy firm team throughout COVID, and then from the work that I did there, it was a project that I was on. I basically moved to that organisation, which is still NHS.
But so they headhunted you across because you're doing so well? Or?
No. It's I did a project with them. We had a good thing. We made good work. There was lots of opportunity to do good work and show. And so when the way that stuff went, there was an opening, and I told him I was going to go for it. So we went down that road.
And obviously it's a promotion, it's better opportunities again. So you moved away, moved along. And what is it you actually do now in your job role?
So it's workforce. What they call it as is workforce planning, which is basically saying that we get a massive data set, a massive box of everyone who works for the NHS, right? Everyone who works there is in a certain place. Yeah. They work for the NHS. We know that, so we can advise, or we can look at only nurses, or we can look at only this or only that. And whatever's going on with the politics in the NHS, stuff that they see that needs fixing, they might need to understand, like with COVID and whatnot, they needed to know how much there was of the critical care nurses.
Oh, so you find out, that's the information
so
you
we get a
provide.
number, we show him in this, that, we can project it and say this is what it's going to be.
And so you're almost looking at the shift patterns, this is how it's going to work, is there enough? And you'll say, no, there's not enough clinical nurses.
But it's basically analytics towards that.
Have you always done that? Is that something you've always been?
Analytics, I've done for a while.
Yeah.
I found that it kind of matches the way that I think about things.
Yeah.
Like I do it. Yeah, like a lot of things at home, I'll think of it in a certain type of way. I mean, really, it's how that I've been shown in it. Like my dad showed me from a long time. There's a big job, break it into small bits. Yeah. Blah blah blah. And the way that he's kind of shown me that is like the way that he's done work.
So your dad's almost showed you how to project manage. Like literally any job, no job's too big. Break it into smaller bits and you can manage it. Like, don't look at the big picture, look at the smaller picture and how to step by step. So did your dad have a massive impact on your life then as well?
Yeah.
And he was there throughout your life?
Yeah. I think the thing with me, I was basically him, but I didn't want to admit that I was him. So I was, you try and do everything that is not him. But yeah, man, maturity in that. We're good. We're getting there. I think from we had that, when the whole accident situation. So obviously I had the accident. From that, it kind of hit a reset, and there wasn't any more telling off or anything like that. So the conversations were just shaped differently. Where we're quite similar, it means that you can, if you have someone that you're on a similar page with, you can have a good conversation with them. You can build and find
it's not just being a father, you're actually quite relatable, and you can have a conversation with him, and you're a different person now. If you don't mind explaining on camera what actually happened with the accident in the first place.
So I had a motorbike accident. 2004. Broke my back, put in a wheelchair. Basically, you spend a certain amount of time in hospital, like fixing, and then you spend a piece of time in basically a rehab place, learning how to be in a chair, and then you're out.
So what actually happened in that accident? Like, fast? Because someone pulled out on you?
No, it wasn't. There wasn't anything. I don't think anyone said if anyone was going crazy fast. It was just where it was, on a corner. Someone came out and hit me.
Oh, they hit you?
Well, it was they came out, crashed into the cars because they panicked and saw me, and I crashed into them because I went to go around them. But where I went to go round, they went. So it just.
So it's like, you've gone round, they've tried to, and it's just ended up in the impact. Was it just yourself on the bike, or was it?
No, I had my boy on the bike. I had my friend on the bike. Day one kind of friend, and he was fine. He's fine.
You come away.
Fine.
So when the accident happens, ambulance comes, you're out cold, or?
So I licked my head hard. So I didn't have any short-term memory for a fortnight.
Right.
So that whole bit.
You don't remember nothing. You didn't remember anything. That was gone.
Only for stories, but I don't.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
So there's no conversation there because you can't even remember that being good.
Which is weird because it's obviously that's me waking up because you want morphine and that's me waking up every time, not knowing what's going on. Someone having to explain it. Every time you're waking up.
Every time you wake up, it's a re-explanation of what's happened.
Madness.
So you're reliving the trauma. I hope this doesn't bring anything back up.
No.
You're reliving that trauma again every time you wake up. Each single time because you don't remember.
I have no memory of it. But you have to add to that you're on morphine, and the trick with morphine is you don't know if you're awake or asleep, bro. Let me tell you, the reason that me and my dad hit reset is like when I was in the hospital, I woke up, I was on morphine. It does the job. No hurting, but you don't know if you're awake or asleep. Like you genuinely don't know. So I was there, and I was like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know
what's going on.
So I was like, let me test it. My dad was sitting next to me. I said to myself, if I tell him something bad, he'll give me a slap. And so I dug deep and I told him something. And he didn't slap me, bro. So I was like,
this is a dream.
This ain't real, bro. Bro, I went from my earliest memory, because I thought it was a dream. I went from my earliest memory to what I was doing that day, or everything, and told him everything, and it hit reset, bro.
Because you kind of released yourself to him.
And he didn't give me no licks. He barely said a word of it.
You're just listening to everything that you said to him, just
soaking it in, bro.
But you must have really thought you was dreaming then, man. Like, what's going on? Why is he not here? But obviously, like I said, you're a morphine. So I don't know.
I genuinely didn't know. I didn't know until later.
Until you come off, and he's like, you said this to me. And
he told me about it, and I had like a distant memory of.
But like I said, it's a lucid dream in your head, isn't it? Like it could have been a dream, it could have been real, but no one said nothing to me, so I don't know. But that reset your relationship with your father.
So we didn't have no more arguments, or should I say, he didn't tell me off. So we'd have, if there was something that he could identify that ain't right, or he don't agree with, or he knows a better way, or whatever. He's just talking to me, innit? And because it's a conversation, you're not being told off and it's one way. Like you're engaging in it. Like when he's saying like I'm boring you or this or that, I'm like, go on, innit? I appreciate you're an older person. Give me that. You know what I mean?
So you almost appreciate him more than not just being your father, but like you said, as an older person, because sometimes a relationship with a parent can be different to a relationship with an older person, isn't it? Like, I'm listening to you because I respect you, but if my parent, stop talking rubbish, so it become a proper respect level thing because of the incident. So, did that beforehand? Did you have a bad relationship with him or a fiery relationship with him because you were growing up?
We didn't get along.
You didn't get along?
Yeah, we didn't get along. He dashed me out the yard. We didn't get along.
So
it wasn't bad, like.
But yeah, because he dashed you out the road, you couldn't get along. You couldn't get along.
We didn't get along. No.
Has that the way you said you lot father and you as a son have a relationship? Is that how you try to change? I know your kids are still young. Is that how you try to parent your children now? Is rather than dictating?
In ways, yeah. In ways that we the way that we put it is that we kind of what do you call it? I don't even know what the word is now. But we've gone from that and we've gone somewhere else. Like for example, as far as I understood it, I was going to give my kid licks. Yeah, I got licks. It worked in hindsight, whatever, innit? Yeah. And we, from early, that's just what it was. That's what I was going to do, innit? Yeah? From early, when he was doing stuff, we realised really soon that if we was going to give him a tap, we'd actually stop him from doing it. Yeah. We'd have to hit him hard. And he was young, and it was like, you can't justify hitting that kid that hard, man. So we was like, we just got to think of something else. So we thought of other stuff, and we've just carried on that. Oh yeah, he ain't had licks.
Do you know what I love about that? Because I'm not somebody for beating kids either. I don't think I've ever raised my hand to any of the children. It's finding a working tactic for each child, because there is working tactics for them. Like I said, a child can only get so big before you can't beat them no more anyway. So if you're beating them from young, it can only get harder and harder and harder. And then I hear some of my friends with mad stories where they got out the coat line and not coat line, they're what's the thing, curtain there, and get whipped because they're so big. You can't slap me no more. I'm bigger than you, so I'm gonna beat you with something else. So the tactics are respect, consistency in parenting, and making sure that both of you are reading off the same hymn sheet. So it sounds like that's what you're doing. You and your partner sound like, we're not going to beat him, because if we keep beating him, it's going to be the violence.
it's an advance, isn't it? I mean, we from the way that my dad was, is his old-fashioned stuff that come from his. And it's obviously stuff that you see and respect in hindsight. Yeah. I know that, the amount of things that I say, and I hear my dad having said it all the time, everything, But I get it, but I don't have to just be that, innit? I've been from early on very conscious of how I do my parenting, or the things that I say, or whatever, because I see so much potential in every single second of the day that you're with them. I have to sometimes kind of stop myself and just have a bit of fun and not try and push some message and grow them in some like. So, but I'm very conscious, bro. And my partner's a TA, so she brings that side of it where she knows how to word stuff. She knows how to, and with that, I'm an analytical guy, innit? So I think a lot about stuff. So yeah, I'm just very conscious.
How have you found? Because before this, we was talking about you've been working at home since lockdown. You're still working at home, so especially your younger child. Is your youngest child at nursery?
Yeah.
So
you just started going back. Yeah.
So you've got your 9 to 5, but during lockdown, there's no nursery, there's no nothing. You're working at home. How did your lockdown? How was your lockdown?
I went from not seeing my youths in the week. Yeah. I live with them. But I leave out before they wake up. I might see them for 5-10 minutes. Yeah. And when I get back, they've gone down. Or again, I might see them for 5-10 minutes. Before they're going to bed, yeah. So before, the way the standard was, that was the week. Saturday was like daddy day. Yeah. I take them out. Tam does Mrs. does her thing. Sunday family, do whatever it is, and then back to it, innit? So where it's come now, but there's no, I'm there every day. Every day, yeah. And I'm either getting up with them, or I'm a part of the process. Yeah. But I don't necessarily have like an office or a desk or anything like that. I just have my lappy on my lap, and I'm just doing stuff in it. if the kid needs feeding or if a nappy needs changing, I can put the nappy down and
do it.
I mean, so it's very different, bro.
So because you work for the NHS, are they on your case like that, or they understand that everyone's at home, so you will get your work done, but you won't maybe not be so productive because you was at home during lockdown?
Do you know, there's been no, in terms of the stuff that I've been doing, there's been no space for, boy, if you've got any dignity, and you realise that anything that you do is going on your name, everyone not thinks the same, innit? But the way that I am, bruv, like if I'm doing something and people are going to see it, I'm going to do it.
It's going to be a certain
I don't want it to be rubbish, bruv, because you never know, innit? So there was no space for that. Everything that there's been no doing less work. It's just work that needs to be done, and that's done.
That's done. So if something needs to be done while I'm doing my work, it's not affecting my work, I'm going to do it and then get back to it.
Yeah,
and
it's fine. And there's autonomy in it. There's respect, there's autonomy. There's a good team of people.
Yeah.
For me, it works out good that there's that, and you know, there's been no. It's been fine. It's barely been any different working in the office as it is to now working from home.
And that is even during lockdown when your children were there.
Yeah.
And what about your relationship with them? How did that? They said seeing them on the weekend, having daddy time on the weekend, is like you said, it's almost an old school tactic, innit? Because I'm gonna go to work, leave it early, go to work, finish late, give you a kiss goodnight, eat dinner, kiss mummy, go to bed, get up. But it's almost like I said, you're part of the process now.
It's completely different. So obviously I've got two,
Yeah.
The youngest one, we did lockdown I was home from the weekend before, weekend before he announced it was my youth's first birthday.
Yeah.
And I was home from a week before that.
So the NHS had already started with
everyone knew what was happening and blah blah blah, and because of the chair, people were like safe and sorry, but even from before that, we can be in the office, and there you have meetings and stuff like that. There's every meeting that you're in, there's somebody who's in a different part of the country or in a different office. So someone's always dialing in.
So you've always been used to the idea of someone dialing in, someone remote calling, or even you being a remote caller to somebody in another part of the country. Yeah. So it was not really difficult for you to get used to the idea of it.
It was more, you know, there was no difficulty, bro. I have to be fair, because it was like, all right, I'm working from home.
Yeah.
I don't have to travel, because bear in mind, I travel to London every day.
Oh, so you go from Epsom Downs to Central London every day?
I do a 3-hour commute there and back every day. So
it's saving you 3 hours a day in the commute. So even if your kids are at school and that, you still got so much more time to spend with them.
But so what it is now, so our boy is still doing nursery.
Yeah.
He only does 2 days, and those 2 days, I do a school run and I do the nursery and school run. So I drop them to school and to nursery, do my work, pick them up, finish off my work, put them to have dinner, cook and ting, put them to bed and read your books, and I'm doing all of it, innit?
So how do you find that? Because for me, again, dropping my children to school, even though I spend the most of my time with my children, my job stops me from dropping my child to school and picking him up at this present moment in time. But everything else around works perfectly. But dropping them to school and picking them up was one of the most proudest things that I could do. Like, there's nothing better than saying goodbye to your children in the morning and picking them up in the thing. How's your day been? Being the first person they see. Like, that's a relationship changer. So to be able to do that and then just cut out an hour and a half, because you don't get paid essentially for that hour and a half, it costs you money. That must be like, I'm building a relationship with my young people. They're seeing their dad work, pick them up, be almost... It's difficult because there's a call that I'm going to go on after this, and it's about masculinity and what is masculinity. And I think masculinity is whatever you choose it to be. But for me, to be able to, like, I don't cook, number one, my missus will say so, I'm not even going to lie and say I cook, but I wish I could. To be able to pick your children up, drop them off, to be able to be part of their life and to be a role model to them is as important as being a provider for them as well. So now you're living the dream, innit?
I can't complain. I've said that a lot over this time. We can be like, bro, being home doesn't just mean that you're seeing all the good stuff. It means you're seeing and a part of all of the bad stuff too. Like my missus has been the disciplinarian for time. Because I'm doing like dots in it, and it seems like I'm the one who's always having fun. And she's always the one like shouting or this or that or the other. And I'm there and I'm part of it now. And but we've had changes, man. We've had mad changes. Our relationship, me and my partner, me and this one, me and the youngest one. The whole everything it's been changing.
It's not just fun dad no more. Now
No.
Dad's in the life.
But bro, that's you like every bad thing that's happened. We've learned from it. If we finish a day, the way it usually plays out, and it's been a bit of we can have everything right, but let's say it's been a bit of a mad one around bedtime, which is quite normal to be fair. But
no one ever want to go to bed.
No, but let's say it does, and there's whatever. Like me and my partner will talk about what happened. And we'll see a better way. We'll understand what went wrong. It's not calling each other out, but we'll understand what went wrong, and we'll do it a better way next time, or we'll try it a different way. Or
so you try to tweak life continuously and reflecting on it all the time.
Daily, and because we've been there, we've both been a part of it, and it's not just her telling me that. Like, you know, I get an email if my kid gets a bumped head at school, right? But it's a different story. Like, and if I come home and the youngest one's got a cut somewhere, she's telling me what's happened. But if I'm there, I saw what happened. We was both a part of it. And we both know how it built up, so we can both say what needs to be the next time. You know what I mean?
So you're, like you said, you're part of the full process now. You're not just the end. This is what happened. What we're going to do. You can see everything build up. I can input fully because I saw it all. So going back to the accident, and like I said, you've had short-term memory loss. You've come out of it, and you've released to the dad. Your relationship's changed with your father. Like, where are you mentally? Because your life is turned upside down. What what sort of work was you in beforehand? What was you doing beforehand? And then day one, it's almost like your whole life is reset. How are you feeling at this point? Where is your mind at that point?
Bro, I'm like, there's been a lot of growth in it. I was, so before the accident, I was doing scaffolding. I worked with a dude running a scaffolding company, which was going nicely. I was going to join the RAF.
No way.
A few months later. Obviously didn't. I came out, but I just got straight on work. I had long hair,
What, dread long hair or?
No, it was like here-ish. It was long.
It's long hair.
But I sneaked out the house. I sneaked on a bus. Fucking, they were freaking out, obviously. But I just went out in it.
So how long is this after you've come out of hospital?
Oh, this is like, no, what? As I said, you do this and then do that, and then when you get set home, your home is safe for you to be in. But I just went out, bruv. Days later, I went out. So I got my hair cut, I went into work, and I just did it, basically. I had stuff I wanted to do in it. I wanted to build a family and da-da-da-da.
So realistically, it was like, I don't know when it triggered, but, or even if you had that mentality from the beginning, nothing was holding you back.
Well, do you know what? It was very autopilot-y. So I'm like 15 odd years in now, and I've seen a lot of things have a much later effect. Like I said, autopilot. I wasn't, but I didn't know anybody talking to me or this. I was cool. I just went out. I had a little time. I think I had a little time when I weren't doing that, like maybe a few months or something. But I went out, worked. Just back in the mix in it. Was driving them times. Mobility obviously makes that stuff thing. So I'm fresh out. I've got not like any kind of crazy money, but I've got enough to get by-ish and da-da-da. You know, we used to go into somewhere else to work and share a bottle or something. And
I just can't. So like you said, you've gone into autopilot almost straight away, where you wanted to get back to as normal life as possible and get as much, like I said, build a family. I want to get my place. I want to carry on almost where I've left off. This isn't stopping me. Was there any point, like you just said there, where everything hit you, or a point where something hit you?
There's been a few bits, bro.
It's like,
there's been a few
oh
bits.
shit, like really, like
It's not been a snap like that, but there's been, man. I'm very thoughtful of things, innit?
Yeah.
So I like to I like to make sense of things.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to learn in it. Basically, through the time there's been a lot of this and that, good and bad, whatever that you get to learn from. And I've been lucky in that I've been in relationships pretty much the most of the time. I've been with my girl for a long time.
How did you meet her?
Just met in the club, bro.
So you're out raving.
Yeah.
So nothing stopped you. I just want to get this a point. Nothing stopped you, because like I said, I can't comprehend after an accident where it is there's something I'll never be able to do unless it happens to me. But you just sound like you're at a club and you're just chilling, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, it's without being me, it's hard to give it.
Yeah.
But brother, just carry on, innit? You want to go out? It's your birthday. Like, think, it's your birthday. What do you know of doing for your birthday? So it's like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And the first time when I went out, like, bro, I get a lot of attention, innit?
Okay, yeah.
A lot of attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, you learn how to just do your own thing, innit?
Yeah.
Basically. And everywhere you go, there's people looking and thinking this and that. And it's again, even that in itself is something to learn, because, bro, everyone I go past is thinking something.
Yeah.
And they're thinking up a story or a likelihood or this or that, whatever. Pretty much everyone's wrong, bro.
But 100%, that's why I thought it'd be best just to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Like, bro, if you see me going down the street, you don't know that I've got 2 kids. Or you don't know that my car's parked over there. Or you don't know that I'm this or that or anything. Like, there's no way you could, innit?
Yeah.
And it's not to like take away from what someone thinks of you, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I just don't care. I can only do about what I can control, innit? I can't control what everyone looks at and thinks, bro. I can control, it's my birthday and I'm with these people and I'm trying to have a good time. So let me just do my things and innit? So that's just been my vibe, bro. But like I said, I've been in relationships and I've been with my girl for a long time. We had kids, not to say that we had kids early or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you know, we've been together a while, and it's always been, from very early on, it was always going in one direction.
How long have you been together now for?
15.
Really?
So.
Wow, that's a serious time, bro.
I think it's a little bit longer than that. It's around that, yeah.
That's a good time, man.
Yeah, it's a while. She's a good girl, bro.
You go engaged, marriage, it's coming up.
Engaged.
Engaged, yeah.
Yeah.
So after COVID-19,
she doesn't believe in. It's not to say that I've necessarily leaned on religion, but I've been brought up religious.
Yeah.
And so I see a value in holding a thing in a church and it's ceremony, innit?
Yeah.
Ceremony part in everything is nice, but that's the ceremony.
That's the main thing. Yeah. The commitment.
Yeah, but she isn't that. Her mind isn't that.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't see as much importance in it. I don't have any. Obviously, there's a mutual respect, but if we had it this weekend, there wouldn't really be anything different next week.
Yeah, because life and carry on. It would just be the commitment, the paper, and that'll be all you're asking for, and that'll be so. But I don't.
There's. I could say there's lots to it, but in the grand scheme of things, the here and now, the what we are, blah 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 blah. It's always been going in one direction, and it's been family, blah 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 blah. 15
years is.
You have your first one, that's your stamp. You have a second one, you've got a family now.
Yeah, you go for the next one, yeah. You go for the girl.
Do you know what? It was very likely not be a girl.
Okay.
But no, I doubt it.
Okay,
Yeah, we're good.
You're good, yeah. You're happy with the two. Don't need nothing more than that. So, when obviously now you've met your partner, you're in a wheelchair, you've got your children, has it impacted your parenting style in any way? Like you said, you planned, like, I always thought I'd beat my children. Like, is there anything that's come up that you thought, this is a positive, this is a negative?
I'm just on building, bruv. I'm just on building. For me, I turn into a parent, and it almost makes it harder to be around other parents in a way that you now if you know what's right and you see wrong, I'm not the kind of person that keeps my mouth shut.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not to say that I'm malicious or but it takes a village, innit?
Yeah, 100%.
Get involved, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's just get involved, not everyone's like that. But like I said, I'm very conscious, bruv. So I'm just on building. Literally everything I'm doing, I'm trying to find a way that I can communicate with them, or find a way that we can facilitate this good vibe, whatever. And I think the majority of the things that I say to them or give to them, it's like, say for my partner, with the conversations that we have about stuff, I'm quite, with an analytical head on it, I'm like, what's the problems? This. It's like my work, bruv. It's the same way that I think of it. I'm like, give me all of the problems. Yeah. Let me figure out some kind of solution. We'll talk about the solution. We'll see how we got to it. Yeah. And cool. Now we're here. Now for my partner and a female friends and they want to talk about this bit lots. Yeah. And I can respect it. But that's not the way that I am. I'm like, once I've gone past it and I'm here, I'm only interested in what's over there, innit? And the way that it works in the house, so a good example is if someone falls over, I'm like, up, carry on. And she'll go and see if they're alright. Is your knee okay? Now go. And because there's a balance to that, that's the way they are.
That's what I was going to say, because it seems like, and it probably plays into after your accent as well, I wipe myself down and carry on, and that's the way you've continued through everything. Like, it's just what am I dwelling on this for? And your partner, like I said, together it is a good mix, because it's showing them both sides of the coin. You know what, there is an emotional side to it. So because it was a question I've been waiting to ask you, and I'm glad you brought it up as well. So do you feel like you lack emotions, or do you feel like it's something you shut off for a reason, or is it something you've always been like, I've got a point to get to, anything around, I work my way over it and just get over it?
In a weird way, it's the opposite. I'm very emotional, bro. And really? I'm very wordy about being emotional. Yeah. And I get people to talk about their emotions a lot.
But what you just said there is almost counter to what you just said.
But and let me kind of add to it then. So if something's happening, and all of the focus is here, my thing is, this place, don't want to be there, I want to be here. So the way that I guess I've learned is that I'll connect with what's happening, the emotion, and I'll take you out of there, bro. And I'll show you to just not be there. There's all this stuff, and there's all this stuff to think about, and I guess you can call it distraction in a sense, but like they could be complaining about some kind of food or some kind of toy or something. And I'm sitting there like, there's people that don't have nothing, and you're complaining. And this is my dad talking, isn't it? But I will give them that in a way that they can understand it. So I'll explain to them something about when me and your mum went to Paris, and we was walking along and we saw only per people that was just on the side of the road, had nothing. And we told them all about it when we came back. And I'll bring it up and I'll say, remember, so I can't. So I can't hear you complaining about that, knowing that, and take you too seriously. Bearing in mind that I've just told you to eat your food anyway. But I don't know. There's a part of it that's very direct, but with them, I like to guide it, innit? Because there's a way that they can think about it, and they can stay on this place forever. And I'm just trying to show them how to just come out of there, innit?
So moving away from Croydon itself down to Epsom, do you think that's had a benefit in your lifestyle? Because obviously being in London, raising kids in London, it's almost frowned upon at the moment in time. But is it a better way of life, better schooling, better everything? It helps with that development.
We chose to be there, innit? Well, I say that.
How long have you been down there for?
So in my place, I've been there 10 years now. And me going there, the where it is wasn't a part of the choice.
Yeah.
It was just an option.
Yeah.
It was good, so I took it.
Yeah.
But staying there has been for the kids.
It has been for the
because
kids.
my partner's from London, from central London.
Yeah.
She grew up, Madam Tussauds.
Yeah.
That kind of way.
Yeah.
She's London, yeah, and all of her people is London.
In London, yeah.
So we're always back and forward.
That's why you said the drive is nothing because you actually.
It's just it's nothing. But she's got a young brother. She's got a very big family.
Yeah.
Very big family up there, and it means that she can see all the different levels, understands it, and as much as the way that it was when say for example when she was brought up, the estate that she lived on was like, let's say 4 or 5 towers all connected.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And she got a big family, and a lot of her aunties
all living in the towers as well.
They got to a point by the time she was born that they all lived in the
so
on
their
the same
family
estate.
interconnected inside these
So,
blocks.
brother, that means that everyone knows everyone. So the community side and so for example, there's no religion or type of person that she's not aware of or hasn't spoken to, or she doesn't live in East Sussex and she's been sheltered or anything like that. She's aware of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be the same now, particularly. Things have just changed and blah 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 blah. Not to say it can't be, but whatever. We've basically chosen that, in terms of him just doing the school stuff, you just home, have your little place, and not really. You say not affected by it. We could be down the road around the corner from, and it doesn't matter that you're out there or here or wherever, innit? But he's got both, innit? He's got both.
So he's still coming into London. He's still seeing what it's like to be in central London, but he's being brought up outside. So best of both worlds almost.
Well, we do football training in Addiscombe.
Oh you come down,
and everyone of me is here-ish. So we'll go football, go out the road and walk the boy's dog, and then stay here for a bit. And
so if you're not at work and doing your 9 to 5 and the kids aren't at school, you're probably in London then, isn't it? Like you're coming down to London to see her family, to see your family, to see your friends, to see everyone. So you're down here quite regular anyway, regular like clockwork.
Yeah. And we drive, so it's easier.
So it's easier. Like I said, because I couldn't understand why you said the drive was so easy for you, but now I understand because you're actually here quite a lot. So,
but see, the thing is that I had about 5 years when I wasn't driving.
Okay. Yeah.
About give or take-ish. And a lot of that, like say, I'm not going to drive to work. If things happen and it works out that I go back. Never, and I haven't ever driven to work. I've always got the train in. And the boys love getting on the train. So a lot of these Daddy Saturdays that I've been talking about, I think we've had our car now for about 3 years or so. But for the first while of when Clay was young, we had a car, but when I went out with him, we was on the train.
Oh, really?
So we would get the train to Wimbledon, tram from Wimbledon to Croydon, and then we'd roll through Croydon, and we'd get on a bus or do whatever we're doing. So he's seeing all sorts.
You're good. I can't stand trains. I really can't stand it. I don't know what it is. I've never liked trains. So you would never catch me on a train. I don't know what it is about trains. I just really don't like them. So overall, like I said, you can't talk from anyone else but your own perspective. But it sounds to me like you're just accepting life every day as it comes. They said you have an end goal, like you said, which is to make your young boys as not perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect, to make them accept themselves and be happy with what they're trying to achieve. And that's your end goal, and that's kind of where you are. You don't worry about what happened yesterday, to an extent.
Do you know what I'm very aware of, and I'm very open in it. I'm big on criticism. Love it.
You love the feedback.
But do you know what it is? My position that I play, be it at work or be it at home, is I get all the problems. Yeah. Give me everything, and I don't mind. I can deal with them calmly. Yeah. I can figure them out most time. I want to say all the time, touch wood. Most of the time, all the time, a lot of people there with me. So you can always figure something out, innit? You can always figure something out. It might not be that, but you'll get there. I mean, but bro, so that's what I'm used to, and because I'm like that, there's just so much to learn in it.
Do you read a lot?
Nah, not a big reader.
So what started you on your journey? Because it sounds like you've been thinking about a lot of stuff and been reflecting yourself. Do you watch a lot of YouTube videos? Do you watch what is it that gives you your growth and your?
I'm just. I guess you could. I guess ultimately you could say that it boils down to religion in some way, but my journey with religion has been a journey in that I understand a lot of different. Like, so for example, my partner's dad was born again Hare Krishna.
What's a Hare Krishna, if you don't mind me asking?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Hare Krishna is basically, you could say, is an extension of Hinduism.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it has the story of is fascinating, and there's lots of very interesting parts in there that I aligned with.
Yeah.
The same way that when I did my confirmation, and I didn't do my confirmation until I was like early 20s.
Okay, yeah.
But you have a thing with the deacon and you go through stuff, and there was stuff that I aligned with. In terms of my own stuff, he was a intelligent enough man that we was able to marry up my view with what theirs was and see the things that fitted, and it aligned.
Yeah.
So that's why I went down that road. If it didn't align, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough to learn a lot of different things and So it I don't know, it just makes me a lot more aware of stuff, innit? Generally.
So is there a denomination you'd say you are, or are you open to everything because it's the experience from all the stuff that you can see yourself aligning with?
I think ultimately home is Catholic.
It's Catholic, yeah.
Just home, innit?
Yeah.
So I got religion from my grandma. My family, black family's from Trinidad.
Yeah.
My grandma is religion, and when she passed, her daughter, my auntie, is religion.
Okay.
And so, you know, if I've got anything going on that's a little bit too much, it's not I'm going to her for the sake that she's the religion.
Yeah.
She's my auntie, I mean, and we've got our own way, and it allows me to at least spark a thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you could say that there's a lot of it that's based in religion. I pray to my boys every night, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a lot more really, because it's just a way of thinking, in it. I'm just very conscious of stuff. I don't want to be, I don't know, I just don't want to be a bad dad, partner, or whatever it is, innit?
I suppose religion, and this is why I'm not religious in any way. Well, I don't believe I'm religious, but probably if you had a conversation about
do you know what's
it'd probably be crazy. I would be.
Interesting. So my granddad is completely not, complete atheist. Yeah, he is big on astrology. Yeah, and he's like written books and stuff. And through that, he has his understanding of things isn't necessarily that you say the word God and call it Bible, but he has something in it. So I think it's bigger than that, and it's for someone to relate to it.
I think there's definitely something bigger than us anyway. Yeah. I think that without fail, there's something bigger than us. But I think all the religious books or ways of life are setting morals and standards for everyone to live by. And I don't think you can read them out of context. In every book can be read out of context, but in most things, most people are peaceful. Most people that I know that follow Islam, Christianity, to be fair, I don't know a Buddhist monk. I only know a couple of Buddhists, but that is it for war, but you just don't because it's extremely peaceful. But the two big ones, Christianity and Islam, most people that I know that follow that are very peaceful and humble people that they don't even want to set you up to argue with you about religion. Kind of like, you do you, I do me. And you know, if you ask me, I'll explain what I believe, but we just carry on in it. I don't drink. That's not a problem. There's loads of people, and I think that's a great standard. So even like yourself with marriage, I'm not fully on the idea of marriage. I will be married because it sets a commitment a steady foundation. Why did you get married? Because I wanted a foundation for my children. Like, is that anything wrong with that? I don't believe there can be anything wrong with that. Like, if you're not religious, let's do it in a registry office. Let's just make that commitment. We don't need to buy rings. We don't need to do nothing. We just need to tell our children we were married and that we were able to commit to each other for your sake more than anything else. And I think that's beautiful. Religion is essentially a great place to start if you're feeling any way, because there's someone else to talk to. There's someone bigger.
Do you know what it is? If you can, and just strip it of everything. If once a day you can remind yourself of the good things that you've done, or the things that you nearly done, or the things that you did do, all the things that you want to be, all the people you care about, if you can just absolutely make sure that you sit down once a day for just a minute and just actually think about it. Not like go for your book, go for your phone and send two WhatsApps and catch up and what's going on, I expect you for a minute. I'm talking like everybody that's in you. If you can be conscious of that once a day and take your bits and remember this and remember that, then I don't see nothing bad that can come from it.
No, I don't think there is. That's really appreciating your life and
that could be above. That could be meditation. That could be anything.
Yeah, but even meditation, I've done meditation. It didn't sit well with me, but I now understand that meditation is something you need to work on. It's something that doesn't come to you over a week. It's something long term, and it for me, it's like prayer. It's the same thing. You're praying to somebody. You're asking somebody for something. In meditation, you're setting yourself at peace within yourself, and you're just letting yourself go and be free. And I like the idea of it, but it never sat with me. But I understand it all.
It's interesting the way that you describe meditation. Is the way that I describe prayer.
Yeah. I think they're the same thing. I think it is just a release within, and I don't believe. I don't know, everyone that's watching, I hope there's thousands and millions of people watching, right? But I don't believe when you're praying, you're sincerely asking for God to change something. Because God's not going to change nothing for you because you ask something. You're just asking for peace within when you're asking for this. Oh, can please, Lord, save this person. You're asking for some sort of release and some sort of peace, and you're trying to find peace. Oh, I need to win £1 million. You probably don't need to win £1 million. You need to just find peace within and be happy within.
Do you know, I think like your man can come to you and ask you about some relationship, and you can try and give your best advice. Yeah. You're not him, bro, and you don't know his relationship ins and outs. And as much as you can maybe give the best of your knowledge, there's only so much advice you can really give a man, innit?
Mate, I remember when I was younger and I was praying to win the lottery and that, and then something clicked in my mind, like, what makes me better for winning the lottery? Like realistically, and this is why I stopped thinking, if he has a plan, if there is a big grand plan for God and he sees everything, me asking to win the lottery means absolutely zero, because there's a plan, and my idea of what the plan should be, I don't know what the future holds. So me asking when he knows the end means nothing, because he can't change nothing for me.
But see, not even just for you. When you think about all your people, and you want your mum and dad to be good, and you want your cousins to be good, and you think about this person, and da 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 da. I ain't got an answer for everyone, bro. I can just send 100%. Vibes,
yeah.
Someone comes to me and blah blah blah. I can give them the best advice, but the only real thing that I feel like I can do is just point them in a better direction.
So the big thing you said there, and I think you said it right at the beginning. The only thing you can do is send out good vibes. I can only be the best person I can be, and hope that you are trying to be the best person you can be, because I think that's the best way to do it. And I take away so much of what you said there, because from the beginning, and your outlook on life is amazing. Even when I thought it was going to go like what you said, you're analytical and you're not trying to be emotional, but you actually have you understand your emotions. It's not something you're trying to hide away from or shy away from. You're actually part of it, but you understand that some things you do need to get up and go from. It's not everything can be, oh, you know what, let's work it out. Sometimes resilience means you can't mess about. You just got to get up and go. What am I going to do? Like, cuddle you and hug you every time you get knocked over? Life doesn't work like that. And as you're a living proof of this, and this whole conversation proves it, it's almost undignified to say you got a boo-boo, like a boo-boo, like a little scratch. but it's not a big scratch. You had a life-changing experience, and you could have sat there and felt bad for yourself your whole life. But from what you've explained to me, you didn't allow yourself to do that. I don't know if you ever come into that.
Do you know what it is? I think everybody has their own struggle.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can call, I wouldn't, of my understanding, I wouldn't call my situation any more or any less than anything. And you can bring up any example, but I don't think, I think that was my personal struggle, that was what had to happen to me, and I did what I did of it. Somebody else's could just be that they had a situation with their parents, or they could have got sacked from work and went through a mental breakdown, or whatever it is. I don't think it's any worse or any more than anything that is me in it. My situation is just personal to me, you get me?
It's all perspective.
But everyone, I think, really, I'm like 34 now.
It's starting to see the world.
You've seen a lot of people go through to a certain place. And I think everyone that goes through something that they find their way to grow from, find their little something that they can then take on in it. Nothing but wait time, you get me?
I think that's a big one, and a lot of people put that to money as well. I don't know if you hear that. If I was rich, or rich people have got it easier. Everyone has their own struggle. There's a reason that them billionaires struggle and commit suicide so
they're
much.
Not happy. They're not necessarily
because
happy,
you've got to keep that money, and it's a struggle. Like, look how hard it is to keep a tenner. Can you imagine keeping 10 billion of them? Like, it's all a struggle. It's all like, I found happiness where I am at this present moment in time. I don't know what happens tomorrow, but like yourself, I have a plan of where to get to. In this present moment in time, I am the happiest I've been previously, and that's kind of where I work on daily. How did I feel yesterday? Okay, how do I feel today? I'm better, or the same. Like, that's good. Or why did it happen? But if I had £10 billion that I needed to look after, and now I've got money of stress, people trying to rob me, people trying to do this to me. I don't think people really appreciate everyone else's struggle, and we're all arguing. I don't know, social media, everyone on Twitter, there's always a problem, but we don't appreciate that everybody in this world, everybody in London has a different struggle. You might think it's easy because I can get up in the morning at 6 a.m. and find it easy. Someone else struggles. That's not my problem, is me, and that's where we need to work on. So I think this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much, and next time I won't make you drive down, so I definitely want to have a conversation with you, but I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Before we go, there's something I had a conversation about. Is there anything that you're working on yourself at the moment that you would like to say and like need help with, or is there anything that, where you are in your life now, is there anything you're working on at the moment that?
Yeah, big time. Time. I don't know how to kind of put it in a box of necessarily what it is, but yeah, big time. And do you know what? I guess I can kind of explain the journey of it. Right. I've been made to live to a better standard, to a higher standard, and because I've been made to live to a higher standard, off of what isn't normal, what now has to become normal is living to a higher standard. So what has become normal for me and what I look at is now a higher standard. So I'm not just the one being pulled up on things. I'm seeing things, and I'm like, well, I'm old. I'm grown enough now to understand, to believe and be confident in what I understand is to be wrong there. So I'm gonna do something about it. And if it's a person or a situation or me, then I'm very, very, very critical. It's all love. It's all going in that direction.
But you will.
But I'm pushing. So, and this is why, and all of the stuff that you put up gets my attention. Even when you just see the headline of it, of like your relation. There was something that I saw. But there's bare things you put up, but there was something that was like, date night doesn't just need to be a night. Like, bruv, from one end of the scale to a complete other end of the scale, my mind is going through stuff all day long, and I'm seeing stuff that could be better any little disagreement in the morning, or why did he say it like that, or why did he pronounce it, or why is it every time he's saying that I have to correct him, and I'm still. How can I make it so I don't correct him? Is there a different way that I can do it? But I'm just thinking of all these different things. So as much as there's a lot of stuff that is like a working effort, there's other stuff that is big things. You get me? And I think the way that I'm a very emotional guy. Like, how can I put it? I am an emotional guy, but it's in compartments, isn't it? It's like I allow myself to think about things in a certain way to make sense. And I'm always trying to bring something better out of it, but I'm considerate of how people are, innit? So if I'm trying to help somebody and they're going through a certain stage, maybe so much I can do in it, but I need to be aware that they're going through that stage. I'm trying to drill into them this and that and fix it up and blah 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 blah, but actually they might be depressed, or they might be going through this, or they might have all these other things going on.
Understanding where they are in their life as well as.
I think it's like I've come to a point where I'm able to accept or recognise that there's such thing as depression. And that as much as people might not necessarily go down the road of how it's prescribed that you would deal with it, I think everyone goes through a bit of a madness and has to, like a situation where 2 minutes of it has gone completely mad, and in those 2 minutes it wasn't completely in control. Do you know what I mean?
I fully understand that. I think I personally don't feel like I've ever gone through depression, but I've gone through, like you said, that journey where your mind wasn't in the right place at the right time, or you wasn't really you, or something come over you and you need to rethink or readjust or grow from that experience. Like, I wasn't ready for that. So, and it hit me, and I did something, either, especially when you're younger, you do something that doesn't align with you, and I think you said that quite, that action didn't align with me, but because I was younger, I went on with the flow, and it put me in a different perspective. And I don't know whether our children, I don't even think our children do it more so than any other time in the history, but something we need to teach our kids is how it aligns with them personally, daughters and sons. If that doesn't align with you, get out of there. Don't stay there. And maybe we're not having them conversations, because I didn't realise that until I'm in my 30s, that if something doesn't align with you, you need to step away. You don't have to be rude. You don't even have to. Good luck.
See, two things. So my dad, if he's in a situation and these people are chatting rubbish, he'll turn around and walk away. He won't say anything. He'll just turn around and walk away, and the people will be like, "Is he all right? Don't care, bro. He's just not on the vibe." My son, eldest, is very nice. He's a very nice boy. He's got love in his heart, and he's just always giving it out. And there's some people that don't deserve it, bro. And I sit there and I see some people that don't deserve it, and he's keeping on trying, and I want to get to a point and the accent starts coming out, and you want to say something, but you know they have to learn their own little thing. And so when you come away and you have the opportunity to say something, it's like, what on earth do you say?
Do you know?
Like, stop being nice.
I can't say that. So one of the biggest things that I try to implement all the time is never allow anybody to change who I am. So I will always react to everybody exactly the same way, to the level. So if somebody asks me for £100, I don't care who you are, I'm probably going to give you the £100. Do you know why? Because you need it. Until you do something wrong to me. If you don't give me back the £100, I'm not even going to chase you for it. It's cool, innit? Don't worry, I'm just going to give you £100 again. So you can't come to me, and if you come to me, you kind of, I don't know what's wrong with you, you're mentally not there. But I won't allow someone to change the way. So I'm naturally a nice person.
Another one, and there's something that I read in there, is there are people coming to you as though it's all right now, and you saying, and you maintaining saying, let's not forget what happened. And that's another thing that I think is just important. There's not just saying that you will take yourself out of it, but that you will stick to that. You know what I mean?
100% sticking to. So I'm putting on a workshop, dropping a video tomorrow about the workshop. It's tomorrow Friday? Yes, tomorrow's Friday. You won't see this for another couple of weeks, so it might not be Friday. But yeah, in the workshop I'm doing, one of the principles is going to be the fuck it principle. Whereas, without making the decision that's going to affect your life negatively, making a positive decision to say fuck it. So, like I said, I need to do a new job, or I need to send a text message, or I need to do something, but I'm overthinking it. But this decision could positively affect your life. Like, fuck it though, it needs to be done. Stop overthinking things. Why are we overthinking things? If someone comes to me and asks me to borrow £100, I'll borrow it. But like I said, you know what, next time, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to say, you owe me £100, innit? So it's not going to affect how I react to you. Give me up my £100, I'll lend you another £100. It's not a problem at all. But we have to have a point where we say no more. And that's the point, like you said with your son, overly nice. We'll get to a point where you sit down and have a discussion with him and say, do you know what? Without saying fuck. No, to be fair, a lot of people, I swear. So I don't know why people think I don't swear. And I think swearing is empowered by what you mean by it.
Context.
By the context of you using it. So you could say to your child, no son, there's a fuck it moment, you know, where you need to actually say, I've given this person too much of my time and I'm not even going to tell them fuck it, but I'll leave them to the side now because the love's there. I will always appreciate this person, but they're draining, they're a leech. So I'm going to go and find somebody that's going to give as much as I can take and I will give back. So that will happen at some point. Or your son will realise, you know what, these people are just wasting my time. But it's for you to realise that. And you don't seem like the sort of person that's going to allow your son to overthink that. Or like I said, right now he's very young.
See, I'm very conscious of I think there's something inside everyone that is very easy to get trained out.
Yeah.
And he's got this little something, and his mum is like, she's a mum.
Yeah.
So she's like,
yeah.
What are you? So think, and I'm a lot more. Maybe they don't know how to be nice. Maybe they need to be shown how to play in a way that isn't going to end up with you like always getting into it.
Yeah.
And I know that you know how to do that. So like, and I might give them tutu guidance or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm more on holding on to that good stuff, man.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I think that's what we need to do more with each other. I think we should be allowed to have our own opinions and our own differences, and just be good, man. Me and you could have difference of opinion on one thing, but we could meet up in the middle on something else, or be completely in agreement in another thing. Like, it's understanding that we don't have to align all the time. No one's exactly the same. We can just be men. Like, we haven't had a conversation about politics. Me and your politics might be completely different, but we just had a 40-minute conversation about something that was pretty good. Yeah. So why do we have to allow one issue to change our differences? Yeah. But as men, and as your child will grow, on certain aspects, I can't give no more in it. Like, I'm just going to walk away from this relationship. But Liam, on that note, it's been a pleasure, right? Thank you very much for coming from Epps and Downs. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will have another conversation with you. Next time we'll pick a particular topic and we'll just talk about it for 45 minutes, an hour if you're up for that. Because I've really enjoyed it. Next time I'll come to you. Again, thank you, bro.
Cool, love.
Thank you. You lot, I was about to not say bye to you lot. Been a pleasure talking to Liam. Thank you lot for tuning in, and have a great evening. See you later. Bye.